We will just get started with our agenda. We'll skip past Heidi for now. She got pulled away for a few minutes, and so that's why I am the voice leading the meeting right now. But we'll move on to Jocelyn, who has some updates for us from the USU branding.
Yeah, I am actually just reiterating what I sent in an email last week on Thursday. As all of the faculty and supervisors know, and what probably most of the ambassadors know, Utah State University is overhauling their branding, their look, their visual identity to be more cohesive. I think they had reached a point where CAS and Extension and the vet school and everything, we're starting to have just subtle enough differences that we didn't look like an entirely united university. And so they have really pulled that in, and underneath that umbrella is the extension program. So they are not going to give us so much leeway. You know, we've had some differences in our fonts and in our coloring and things like that. And they're really going to, they're just trying to keep that a little bit more under control, because for every program like Create Better Health, there's 1,000 others that are trying to get their own logos and looks, and it was just getting too big. So I sent out last week the little avatar for our Facebook pages, and I was blown away by how quickly you guys all updated those. Thank you. Immediately there was an entire army of those little blue U states. And while I admit, as does everybody, even that was making the decisions, that makes it so we all kind of look like the same program, but it does create an overall unifying look for the university, and it adds credibility for us. So there's some give and take there, but thank you. My point is, thank you for changing those Facebook avatars. I'm genuinely grateful for how quickly that happened. Any counties that don't have an ambassador, I'll go in and take care of those over the next few days. And I just wanted you to know that you will be getting a new banner, you know, at the top of your Facebook page or any social media that you have right now. We've got a picture for you that's got the old Utah State extension logo. So I'm working with a graphic designer, and I will compile a list of maybe 8 to 10 different banner photos, and then you can pick the one that you like, and I'll keep those available to you. So maybe if there's one that's that you like for summertime, and then you want to swap that out for when it's colder, I'll just make sure you have a few new banner pictures that you can rotate in and out. And those are in the works. I don't create them because I don't have that talent, but as soon as I get those, I will send those out in an email to you, and then you can swap that banner picture to make sure it's also got the new U State logo. Our visual identity guide, I've mentioned that before, for those of you that like to create things more from scratch, or like to play around with some of the templates we have, our is staying the same. They're still going to let us use those little, they're called secondary colors or secondary palette. That's still in effect. That, as far as we know at this point, they're still letting us use that. So that's still in effect. That's still on our website. So you can still refer to that for colors, secondary colors. I'm working on the websites. Those still, you know, when you go in, you'll see they still have the old logos. I am aware of that. I appreciate when you remind me, but I also want you to know, I know that there's a lot of things that you're going to come across that haven't been updated. We're working through them bit by bit by bit. But but if you see something and you're like, hey, this really needs to be changed, I don't mind a little reminder. I just, I am aware of it. Another thing, and I think Heidi was going to touch on this, but if she's not on yet, I will. One of the new edicts or guidelines coming down from the old Main Hill is all of our paper material printing needs to be done through Aggie Print. They used to go by USU PDP, printing or publication, design, and print. Now they are renamed themselves. They are Aggie Print. So all stationery envelopes, business cards, flyers, any paper products that we're having printed have to go through Aggie Print. And in the past, Heidi would allow local print stores, you know, if you had a little Kinko's or a Alpha Graphics around the corner, that's going to have to be only very rare, last resort in case of an emergency. They really want everything to go through Aggie Print. So it takes a little bit of planning beforehand because you order it through Aggie Print and then it has to be mailed to you. So you need 2 or 3 days leeway there. But that is not our choice. It's coming from the university. So if you would be sure to use Aggie Print, work with Amalia, she can order it, but they're kind of clamping down on that freedom for paper product creation. One last thing I wanted to mention, in your office, you obviously will have plenty of Create Better Health materials that have the older extension logo, and some of them don't even have our trademarked Create Better Health logo yet. That's fine. We know that this is going to take time to flush out all of the old materials and in with the new. They're giving us months, even up to a year, to kind of go through and use that stuff. So don't throw it away. If you're handing out things that has the old extension logo, or if it has the Create Better Health without the trademark little TM, that's okay. We're getting to the state of perfection. We're not there yet. So don't throw things away. Use them. If you have questions, you can always reach out to me. I have a couple people above me that I can always ask when they're complicated questions, but I'll try and answer as these things come up. So are there any questions right now about some of that information or the email that I sent out on Thursday? I had a couple ambassadors email good questions. But if there's any that were lingering, I'm happy to answer them. I'll look in the chat also. All right, I don't think anything's come up yet. I want to strenuously encourage everybody to use the pre-made templates that we already have, so you're not spending a lot of time on graphic design, and the social media materials that are already made by the state team. They're following the guidelines. They're going to have updated logos. So reusing, resharing, repurposing things that have already been made is a great time save, and it does make sure that you've got what you need. So, okay, Heidi is saying, okay, Heidi says, I know I just announced at annual conference that you could print locally. Sorry for that. It just came down the pipeline that it does need to be through USU. We hope to have things in place where printing and orders are better. I will be doing surveys quarterly to follow up on how it's going. And please reach out if you have anything. So yeah, that's just reiterating what I said, where in the past we allowed things to be printed at the county level. The university wants to rein that in and have everything done through Aggie Print. So so that's changed just within the last 2 weeks. So yeah, onward and upward.
Jocelyn, a quick question.
Yeah.
So when we have, when we're printing a recipe for a class, is that what you're talking about? Like you want those recipes printed at Aggie Print, or?
No, so if you're teaching a class and you need 30 or something like that, you can print them hopefully in your extension office.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, no, you can print things right there. It's whenever you need mass publication, mass printing, like if you're doing pass along cards, or if you were doing recipes for a farmer's market booth and you needed 100 or 200, then that's when you'd want to plan ahead and get those. On the meeting that I attended, they said, if you need to print some things out at your office at Extension or use your copier at Extension, you should still get it approved by me, look at it, or if it's using one of our templates, it's already been approved. So if you're printing out some recipes for your class and you use one of our recipe templates, you're good to go. You can print that at your office. But if you're printing out bulk or something to distribute in the community that's more, marketing and recruiting type thing, you'd probably mass print those, and you need to use Aggie Print for that. But for class preparations and your local things where you're printing 10 or 15 or 20 of something, you can just do that in your extension office.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a really good question. It would be a nightmare if you had to, for every class, send things to PDP or Aggie Print. So yeah.
Jocelyn, would a good kind of line be is if you'd print it outside your office or pay for it printed, it should be with Aggie Print.
Yes, that's a really good line. If you're saying, I need this created for whatever reason, and I'm going to outsource it to a printer, it definitely goes to Aggie Print. But if it's something you can print and copy right there in your office and you're using our templates, then you have the ability to print those there. And obviously the templates, you're moving things around, you're putting in, text. you can always send those to me and just say, look, I'll be printing 30 of these for a class I'm teaching at the high school. Does that look all right? And I'd be happy to give you the stamp of approval. But if you're using our templates, 99.9% sure you're right within the guidelines of the size of the logos and making sure there's the disclaimer. So, and the templates have not yet been updated. So as you're using the templates for the next little while, you're going to be like, she just said, but we're working through them. There's many. So, okay. But yes, I like Lacey's definitive. If you're going to outsource the printing, it goes to Aggie Print. If you're going to do it right there in your office, because it's a small print job, you're good to go.
Justin, Heidi added a comment.
Yeah, I can hurry and just
Oh,
say
yeah.
it. A few years back, they didn't allow P cards to be used for printing large jobs. And so I imagine they'll be watching your P card for printing. So just be super careful. Let's follow their rules and recommendations. So, and we're trying to help you the best that we can too. And I know we've had a broken system. So that's why I added, please reach out to me if you have anything you need to talk about. But anytime your office can print, that is really helpful.
Yes. Yeah. And I will mention there has been some trouble with PDP, and I think that's why they're launching a new name. They're hoping to be better, faster, swifter, stronger. And so if you ever do have an order from them and it's not coming fast enough, we got to keep the lines of communication open, because Heidi or Amalia can follow up with them, and then they can be aware that there's a clog in the system or there's been a mistake, because I think part of it's just communication with them. There were times when we were really unhappy with their turnaround. And then when we talked to them, they had no idea that there was frustration there. So then it gets fixed. So just keep on top of those. Let us know. We can follow up. And if there's something slowing it down, we can work with Aggie Print, because I think them knowing that they are the sole source, they're going to have to up their game and be on top of things. And so will we, hopefully. So, okay. All right, that is all I had. Questions about printing and having any sort of materials approved or whatever can come to me, and I will get you the answers you need. And we have beautiful materials. You guys do a great job, so thank you.
Thanks, Jocelyn. Next, we have a pairs training with Hiram.
Okay, so hello everyone. We have some new things in pairs this year. Before I share my screen and I go through some of the new things to show you, I wanted to let you know that there have been other changes that have happened on the pairs end. And Lacey and I are going through those because most of them are PSE related, and most of them are minor tweaks to the language. We will let you know if we find something that will affect everyone on a grander scale, but like I said, we're still going through all the changes that have occurred. But if you find something that you have questions about, please don't hesitate to reach out to Lacey for PSE, myself, or for any of the other program areas if you have questions for them in pairs. So I wanted to tell you that first, and now I'm going to show you a couple changes that have happened, and some of you may have noticed this already. So I'm going to share my screen. I wanted to show you first, sorry, I have to move this bar so I can see. Okay, in your pairs dashboard, the first thing that I want to show you is a new addition to program activities that I think is really cool, and hopefully will make it more an easier process for you when you're creating your program activities. So if you go to track and program activities, and I just created a test one here to kind of save us some time, but you'll click here and I'll edit it, or when you create a new one, there is a new section after going through the general information and the collaborators. In this next one, that's SnapEd custom data, there is a new drop down here called template. And so what template does is it actually auto-populates all of the information for this page. So I will do an example. Under templates, you'll see that we have full series, and we all like an 8 series class, a one-time class, the full series for create family meals. There are all these different templates. So I'll do 2 examples. I'll show you one. So let's say I did a create better health one-time class. When I click on that template, all of these other sections will auto-populate with the objectives or the intervention topics that are written into the curriculum. So the priority indicators will all go in place, the target audience. You'll have to fill in the setting here. So, you know, I taught it at a soup kitchen, we'll say, just for our example. And any additional curricula that you used, the objectives will all auto-populate, and then you'll answer this question: did this activity include a food demonstration, yes or no? So that is one way that you can use a template. You do not have to use this, but I also wanted to show you another way that you can use a template. So let's say that you were teaching a Create Better Health 8-class series, but you were actually teaching it to older adults, and one of the classes got canceled. So when you click on this template of the 8-class series, it auto-populates with all of the information for an 8-class series. But you can change the templates, and it can be any template. So let's say the target audience was not adults, it was older adults. I can make that change. And the setting, I could change it to whatever setting it was. And then the objectives, let's say these objectives were all covered, but we skipped a class, and this class that we skipped was the dairy class. So I can close this, I just press on the X, and that topic disappeared. Or let's say nobody showed up for the fruits and vegetables class. So I can push an X here, and you can delete that. You can also add to it. So even though I didn't teach those 2 classes, I did spend more time in my class talking about water, for example, and I can add that to the intervention topics. So these templates are just a way that will hopefully speed up the process for you as you're entering the information in pairs. You can use them, you don't have to use them, and they can be edited and modified. And I can't see, okay, let's see, I open the chat. Any questions on this piece? Okay, the second thing I wanted to show you is, because we're in a new fiscal year, I'm going to go back to my homepage just so you can kind of see from the start that you can copy activities from last year to this year. So if you were doing different activities, not all of them are copyable. So I'll just show you under track, you can copy partnerships, coalitions, PSE site activities, and social marketing campaigns, but it's likely you won't have any of those. So I'll just do an example for PSE site activities. What you'll do to copy is you'll click on whatever section you want, and you'll notice that there are these filters that are preventing you from seeing anything other than what I have here is 2022 and the ones that I created. So I'm going to change these filters, and I'm going to change it to the reporting year of 2021, so I can see the things that I created last year. And for my example here, I'll change that it was created by me. But anyway, then you'll go down to apply, and you'll have these new filters. So you'll be able to see the PSC activities that you made last year. And what you'll do is right here, this button that says copy multiple PSC site activities, you'll click on that, and it will allow you to copy these over. And these are the ones that were created last year in 2020. Oh, these are new ones because I have all of that. But let me go to ones from, oops. Okay, let me start over. So you'll press the copy multiple, and then you'll change the filter. So the filter says 2022, you'll go to filter and change it to 2021. And then press apply. When you do, you'll see the things that were created last year. So after that, you can make a copy of a PSC site activity, and you can do more than one. So let's say that I'm still working at the Cache Community Food Pantry, and I'm still working at the Wendover Head Start. Okay, so I'll click both of those, and then at the very bottom of your list, you'll have a copy button. So I'll just press that so you can see, and I apologize for all the scrolling, but you'll press copy at the very bottom, and then in your new year, sorry, I need to just change this really quickly. Okay, here you'll see that those 2 activities copied over. So now there's the Cache Community Food Pantry and the Wendover Head Start. So both of those activities have copied over to the 2022 fiscal year for the new one. And then you don't have to recreate it. But after you make it, copy it, you're going to want to enter into it and make any additional changes. So you would press edit, and then make sure that the information is the most up to date. Sometimes things change, and sometimes different fields get cleared. For example, the stages of implementation this year that you've made a copy, it's now blank. And so you'll need to go back and fill in this information, but it saves you in copying it from having to create a new one. So you would fill in this information, delete the comments here if they were because it saves the comments from the previous year. So you'll delete those comments, and then now you can add your new information. So like, I went to the food pantry this fiscal year on the 8th of 2021, and I did recipe bags, for example. And then you would do another one, maybe on a Saturday, I brought buy produce for your neighbor, produce to the food pantry. And then you would push save and continue editing and making any updates to the program or the PSE site activity. Are there any questions about copying PSE site activities? And I'll check the chat really fast. Okay, one last thing I want to show you. If you do make it, oh yes, Annie, I see, is that a hand raise or a high five? Yeah, this is great. If you have a question, just go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
When you have an activity like the food pantry recipe bag, you don't go alone. I'm planning on going with another ambassador. And do we need to report this separately, or only one person has to report it?
Oh, okay, great question. Only one person has to report it, Annie. So just one person, it doesn't really matter who reports it into pairs, but just have one person report the number of bags you made or the number of pounds that of produce that you did, however you want to measure.
And when you report one person, we add the name of the other person that was working.
That is really helpful for us in the comment section. Some counties have more than one ambassador, and it's helpful. I'll do an example right here. So we'll put the date 10/8/2021. And Annie, can I use you as an example?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll say Annie and I'm trying to think. We'll say Jenna, since I know that she's okay. So Annie and Jenna, and then recipe bags. And you might say something. If you wanted to be more specific, you could say 30 recipe bags or whatever it may be. But that would be an example of a way that you could report it in the comment section.
Okay. Another question is, if you have already done this before, like the last year, you do that thing that you said to follow, just copy everything in the new year?
Yes, exactly. So this will be recorded and you can watch it later. After our meeting today, I will also send an email with a recording video segment. So it won't be the whole meeting, but it's just maybe 5 or 10 minutes that has how to copy all of these. So you can refer to that video also.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, great questions. Thank you, Annie.
Hey, Ram, could I just point out too, with PSE, there's a section for collaborators
Yes.
that you can also click there to add all of the ambassadors and even the supervisor. And there's a place where you can say how much they are involved in it and things like that too.
Excellent. Yes, and I'm showing that here where you can add the name of, so in this instance, I think this is, I created it. So I'll just add you, Annie. So I can add Annie. I can say how she was involved and what role. And I could, help with recipe bags, or in this instance, you wouldn't be so specific, but anyway, you could write an information in that box. So thank you, Lacey.
Lacey, if this makes it so that anyone from the team can edit on that site, is that correct? So that if Annie has someone else going with her, then she can have that other person add the comments and it allows both ambassadors to report.
Right, as long as they choose view and edit. If they select view only, then that person wouldn't have that option.
Here's an example: view only, view and edit.
So that's nice to be able to share it, or if someone's maybe going to be out of town for a while and just to keep the work going, that's a great feature as well, just to be able to share access to it.
Okay, excellent questions. Thank you, Annie. Lacey and Christy. I just want to show you one quick difference. So I did PSC side activities. If you are copying partnerships or coalitions, there's one slight change. It's very minor. I'll show you an example. So I click on track, partnerships, and now I can do copy multiple partnerships. I'll click here. Remember that this is showing partnerships for 2022. You'll have to filter it for 2021 and then apply. And now it will show partnerships created by you or within your county. And if I wanted to copy multiple partnerships, let's say I'm just going to copy these 3 partnerships, I would do the same thing. Click on those boxes, the ones I want to copy, scroll all the way down to the bottom. I apologize if it makes you dizzy. I'm just going to scroll really fast. Okay, press copy. And then you have these new ones for the new fiscal year. But you notice here under the name, it says copied. You do not have to keep that. So click on this and then edit, and you can delete the copied and then make any other changes like you would for any other copies that you make. So if there's other information that needs to be updated or changed or added, you can do that in your partnerships. Even though you've copied it, you still need to update it, is what I'm trying to say. We can't just copy it and say, oh, I'm done for the year, because hopefully if it's an active partnership, things will be changing and growing. So that's the only difference between partnerships and coalitions. And I think that completes anything I had to show you. Does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask?
Hiram, what about when we're doing a program, like we've done 3 classes in a direct ed program, and then we're finishing the classes in this new year, can we copy what we did before into it, or do we have to begin again?
Yes, that's a great question, Cheryl. The only ones that you can copy are the partnerships, coalitions, PSC side activities, and social marketing campaigns. And so you'd have to recreate your program activity and your indirect activities. But remember that you don't have to backtrack the information. So even if I did a series that started in September and ends in November, I would have completed all the September stuff last year. And this new year, I would create a new activity and I would just input the classes from October through the end of November, or through whenever the series ends. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
And Cheryl, it will be easier to input those program activities with the templates. They will go much faster.
Thank you.
Yes, with the templates that I showed you at the beginning. Thank you.
That's a great feature, by the way.
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, any other questions? Okay, if you do have any questions, you feel free to email them my way, and I will help you as best I can. Thank you.
Thanks, Hiram. All right, next on the agenda is me. I just wanted to remind everyone and thank those who have decided to get involved with the Apple Crunch. The Utah State Board of Education, they have a goal to make it their biggest year yet. And so, appreciation to everyone who's participating. And if you haven't, we are celebrating all month long. So if you want to do any Apple tastings or things like that with the youth that you teach, that would be great. I also wanted to just send a reminder of the challenge that I gave to everyone to have a healthy food drive sometime during the first quarter of this year. And just keep that on your minds as you're doing your PSC planning. And also a reminder, last year we had formal PSC meetings with each county. I am more than happy to meet with any county that would like to do that again, just to do some brainstorming of some ideas of what you are interested in doing this year, or to troubleshoot if you're having struggles, realizing your plans in PSC. So please just send me an email and let me know if you would like to meet with me as a county, and we can work around your regular county staff meetings. That seems to work pretty well for people. Since you're already meeting, you can just invite me to attend as well for that discussion. And then our next agenda item is social media. I believe it's stories, and Shayla, I think, is who's presenting this item.
Yes, thanks, Lacey. I just wanted to remind everyone, like Lacey said, the Apple Crunch day is October 20th, and I have a story for it if you want to post it and participate that way. You can find the story in box, and there's a link directly to the stories on the staff website. And you can find that under social marketing. Sorry, my toddler's sick. And then I just wanted to give an update on the stories that I am posting this week. I will be posting on Monday today is on serving sizes. Tomorrow we're highlighting grapes. Then we have Apple Crunch Day on the 20th or Wednesday. Thursday, we're doing misleading claims that we find at the grocery store and how to avoid those, or at least understand what they are actually saying. And Friday will be on cheese. It's ingredient exploration. It's a highlight off of the Kids Create blog to remind our community members that we do have a Kids Create blog. And then on Saturdays, physical activity. And Sunday we'll do a crock pot applesauce. You do not feel like you have to post every single day a story. Just a reminder, we do at the state on the state page, but you don't have to do that. And just know that you don't have to create your stories, that you can use the pre-created ones and go to the staff website, social media, create better health stories, and then they'll be in box. So that's all I had.
Thank you. They'll be beautiful. Shayla creates the most beautiful pictures for your stories. Also, Paola, do you have anything you would like to share for upcoming Spanish social media?
Hi, sure. Well, this week, let me see. Okay, so I just shared the newsletter for the month. This month, I just did a special with Captain Create because it's going to be Halloween. So I just thought that will be good to use Captain Create for the newsletter. It's already in Facebook, and I send it on the email to all the ambassadors that have requested. Hold on. Sorry, I wasn't sure if I was going to share today. So, and yeah, I'm just gonna talk about this week about the root vegetables. So that's gonna be the recipe. And what I do, it's on Mondays, I share the recipe of the week. On Tuesday, I just share fun facts about the recipe or the vegetable or whatever I'm using for the recipe of the week. On Wednesdays, I use like, did you know that? For example, I don't know, something related with the subject that I'm using. On Thursdays, I do thumbs up. And Fridays, I just share something on the blog. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. So this week, I'm just going to be talking about root vegetables.
Very good. Okay, thanks. So yeah, we've got a lot of state-made materials for you to just gracefully slide over into your programming, not take too much time. All right. County sharing, is that?
I think that's first Mondays, county sharing, right? Okay. Because I've been telling everyone that. And so everyone gets a pass due to my incompetence, if that's incorrect. But I think that covers most of the items for our meeting. Thank you all for joining us today. I don't know if anyone else from the state office has any other items that they want to discuss or share.
Yeah, really quick. Over the weekend, I had a friend that works for USU share a meme on social media that just said, oh, let me see and I'll tell you what it says. It's just about our workloads, that we have heavy workloads and not enough time to get everything done. And so if somebody asks you about it, they're like, how's your workload? Oh, well, here's a a seminar that you can watch to help you manage your time or whatever. So what I want you to do with this last half hour is sometime this week, take this half hour to get something done that you wouldn't be able to do, and you'll get paid for it. It can be personal, it can be for work, it can be something. So take this extra half an hour and just be able to not watch a webinar, but to take that time and do something that will help you feel a little like life is manageable. Thank you all.
Thank you, Heidi. Just as you're leaving, if you haven't had a chance to type in your name for our role in the chat, please do so, and have a great week and enjoy your 30 minutes of getting something done that you haven't been able to get to.